Welcome in to the CLBS podcast pregame show. We got Aaron, we got Morgan, we got Rodon coming to you live as the Columbus Blue Jackets are taking on the Colorado Avalanche from the Toyota Lounge. Also brought to you by Bet365 and Coors Light. Let's face it, this has not been the year the Columbus Blue Jackets have wanted. Clearly, a lot of issues going on inside of the organization, from the top all the way down to the bottom. You're a team that has a Johnny Gaudreau. It's not that you are completely talentless, but going up against a team like Colorado, are you trying to prove yourself, or are you tanking for Macklin Celebrini at this point?
Well, there's always Adam Fantilli. Oh, wait.
It's true.
There's always Blue Jetter. Oh, wait. All right, goaltending, Elvis. Okay, no, that's not an option tonight either.
It's tough out here.
Macklin Celebrini's looking really good right now.
I don't know if you ask him that. I don't think either.
They don't want to answer that question.
Oh.
I'm kidding. You guys know that.
Of course.
It's my sleeper pick in the NHL. I like Columbus. I do like the town.
I would not pick them as a sleeper.
No, I'm meaning like of a town. Like I always enjoyed going there. You know what I mean? Like it's just been not good for 20 years, whatever it is, right? Is it 20 years now? God, I'm getting old.
Yeah, it'd be 23 years. I mean, there's some lockouts in there, but
It just hasn't been good, right? But I pull for them. Like, but man, it's bad, But who knows? I mean, I just, God, who knows what they're gonna do? But yeah,
okay. Look, all I'm saying is, if there was ever a night for Columbus to be able to beat the Colorado Avalanche, a night where you're missing Nathan MacKinnon, you're missing Arturi Lehkonen, you're missing a bunch of Avalanche players, why not try and go out and beat one of the best teams in the league, right?
I was looking at Damon Severson's comments after the last matchup in Colorado, and I think that the D-core is what could save Columbus tonight. Werenski and Severson.
There you go.
I'm looking at you guys.
Gotta step up. I can't keep doing it. Obviously,
I'm trying that. I meant that seriously. I really like Damon Severson's comments, but I feel bad. I don't feel like they have the horses tonight to.
yeah.
No. And also, MacKinnon is in, and Lehkonen is in.
Also
this is just an April Fool's joke, chat. It's fine. had to go for it though. Had to try it with you.
No need to.
I knew everyone would get the CLBS joke, but I had to get one in there that would actually get people a little bit. The Avs are just fine. Even Sean Walker will be back for this one, it sounds like. So, Avs doing just fine. Going into tonight, Columbus' side is pretty rough. Colorado's side, if you're serious about winning the Central Division, this is one you have to have, right? Doesn't matter what the situation is. It is going to be Justus Annunen in net, excuse me. We were talking, Eric and I, before the show. I've asked this question a bunch of times, but it feels like Annunen just keeps earning a little bit more. At what point are you giving him half of the games left down the stretch here? Obviously, he's going to get 2 more with the back-to-backs, but can he earn 3 or 4 of these last 8?
It's really tough because the reason we're considering that as an option is because of being in weird territory with Georgiev. With 8 games left on the docket, that's not a really good position to be in, because otherwise, if the circumstance was for a different reason, I think there would be more of a comfort giving Justus Annunen more like half of those games. But I think it could be detrimental to Georgiev to do it that way.
For sure.
I do think that he is going to get 3 starts down the line. I'd like for it to be something like 4, just because there is a reality where you might count on Justus Annunen in the Stanley Cup playoffs more than you'd like, and it's not even to throw Georgiev under the bus. Just things happen, losing Darcy Kemper after the Nashville series, and the weirdness that was when Pavel Francouz did need to come in for the Edmonton series are the kinds of things that they need to plan around a little bit, and Annunen lacks a little bit of experience in that, right? So it would be the smart thing to do when they have a few games in the regular season left to go to give him some more starts.
Yep.
To try him in, because you look at the schedule too, and there are some good teams that they're going to be
For
facing.
real.
I want to see Justus Annunen in those games. I want at least an idea of what that looks like. I know it comes a little bit at the expense of Georgiev, and that's the hard balance in the decision that needs to get made because, like I mentioned, they're in a weird spot with Georgiev right now. I hate that they are with so few games remaining in the season.
Yep.
And I'm a little bit frustrated with Georgiev for putting them in that position. I had hoped that that side of his game was more resolved, especially since I felt like Justus Annunen earning the trust that he has helped Georgiev to take a little bit of pressure off his shoulders because there's a little more trust that the games that Justus is in, he's going to do well. So Georgiev doesn't have to kind of carry that burden too. And they're just in a weird spot there. But I'm so excited for Justus again tonight. I don't know what version of Columbus that we are going to see. I was poking a little bit of fun, but the way that they started the last Columbus game was intriguing. And so I don't want the Avs to get too comfortable on the road. They're building something really special, and I don't want them to lose sight of that.
I mean, God, was it last week I said, never talking about Georgiev again,
And here we are.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. And you guys know I'm not Monday morning quarterback. I'm not. I never have been, never will be. But I just want to explain a little bit my point of before the trade deadline when I was talking about the Avs going to get an experienced guy, which had nothing to do with Justus Annunen at the time because Justus at the time, if you remember, he had 7 or 8 games. Okay, now he's got 15. Awesome. Great. It's still the same point that I'm making. Wanted to have an older guy, a guy that's been around, just because talking to people around the league and talking to people that know that's his former team and coaches, and Georgiev puts a lot of pressure on. He's a good guy. That's not the point. Puts a lot of pressure on himself, and he works really hard in practice, and it just becomes too much. He's kind of a workhorse, and then his 6-inch game's not there. And when it's not there, then he is his own worst enemy, and that's what he needs to learn. He needs to just learn to chilliwack, right? Take a chill pill, relax. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's just, you saw it last game. It's again that, and now you're 8 games into away from the playoffs, and I'm not trying to be negative or Debbie Downer about it, but that's what I was talking about. Is you don't know when it's going to hit you. You don't know when you're going to feel the pressure. You don't know when, and you just have to just be able to chill and breathe a little bit. And you saw it last game. He lost his temper, and I think Bednar did admit it. That's one of the reasons why he pulled him.
That's the problem for me. As Megan brought up here, the issue isn't, he had a bad game 1 out of 8 games. It's his mental response to that. And you're watching the frustration, the inability, I don't want to call it cope, but he's just struggling up here as much as he is struggling with his play. He gave up 4 goals. Okay, whatever. Every goaltender not named Connor Hellebuck has a bad game every 8th game or whatever it is.
Even Hellebuck's had some tough
lately
games.
It's been worse.
Yeah. And you know what? That puts it into perspective.
But it's the response to giving up 4 goals of him throwing a puck out of the rink and causing even further damage is where you're looking at him and saying, you just can't do that. That's the part of it that has to get better.
And you're in a 4 out of 7 series, in a playoff series, and you make that play, and then there is a penalty on the play, whatever it is. And do I think it's soft? Yeah, I think it's soft. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? That's just how this league is now. So, but then all of a sudden you get scored on. It's a different game. You don't make that comeback. You're short by a goal. In playoffs, it's 7 games.
Yep.
You don't have time to mess around, and that's what we talk about. Everything earned, nothing free, right? But that's a freebie. You know what I mean? And that's just not right. So, again, not being Debbie Downer, I'm happy for Justus because, on the other hand, we've all been talking about Justus. I think we all agree here. We all like Justus as a goalie. We never understood the Prospitov deal, and none of us did. And I'm sure there was a plan behind it. I'm not questioning the plan, but Justus now he's shown some strides. He's shown, which is awesome. Now here's what I want him to get: the Edmonton or the Dallas or one of those games. I want him to get one of those games. You know what I mean? Just because you want to feel good about yourself, and Because he'd do good. He would do good. And then you go in there not being negative. And I think it's a conversation with Georgiev too down. How are you going to manage the goalies down the stretch? And you are on the more. Because if you, first of all, we said it. He is the number one. Nothing's changing. There's no goalie controversy, you know. But somewhere, somehow, you know, you have to make sure that he is not shooken up because he is your guy that's going to be in there game one. So you want to make sure there's a lot of communication going on right now with him. And you know, the goalie coach and the staff and you know, just to make sure everybody's on the same page and there's no controversy, but give a little bit of leeway to Eustace, and because he's earned it, he's done well, and then it makes you even in a better position in case something happens down the stretch here. And I don't mean like a bad performance. I mean maybe an injury or whatever it is, like we saw, like Megan just said about Kemper or whatever, and Frankie in the playoffs a couple years ago. So here I am talking about him again, but you got to be able to control your temper. That's just the way it is.
All right, I think we've talked about goaltending enough here. Let's get to the other three. Well, one of them might be goaltending. I don't actually know, but the three keys of the game.
I didn't put it in.
He
there.
dodged it.
I had a dream about this, and special teams was one of the keys.
I bet that's
I'm not
on
even
there.
poking fun. I'm not even poking fun. I had a dream about this.
She saw
Like
the future.
You know, like honestly, number one and number two in playoffs should be it's goaltending and special teams.
Of course.
It's very freaking simple. So
Yep.
it's like, and if you win those two, you usually win the game. So, but you know, we'll dissect it a little more and try to stay away from that. But no pond hockey tonight. That's what I said. It's an easy one to just think about and then just not be sharp, throw everything out the window, start playing a pond hockey game, a track meet, whatever you want to call it. Just don't do that. Play the real game. Put them out early and often. Give them a reason to quit. That's just the way it is. And trust me, I've been there. You fall behind. Severson, Pascal Vincent, the head coach, you know, he said it after. He has the best team we've seen all year. So the Avalanche are on top of their game tonight. They should be able to eat that team alive, and there is no ifs and buts. There's no excuse. So playoff habits and get going. Number two, well, check in mentally. You know what I mean? I think Kel was talking about it last game, and don't take anyone lightly ever. You know your job, shift in, shift out, bear down, and this is a perfect opportunity tonight to do that because guess what? There's not a lot of practice time this time of year, and I'm not downplaying the Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm saying this is a way more fun environment than a practice where you're playing against each other. Again, you're playing against an opponent, a National Hockey League opponent. You got to respect it, but somehow get out there and get yourself ready to go and check in mentally from first minute till the last minute. Number three, sharpen the knives. Like, keep the mental game sharp. Keep your special teams sharp. Keep getting ready for the dance. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity to get on the road and be in a different building. Not, again, they've won the last four on the road, right? Which is nice. It's a nice little streak right now. Make it 5. 5 is what again? It's 4.
What
You're
is 5?
streaking.
Is 5 wagon?
5 is a wagon, or is that 6? No, I think 5 is a wagon.
5-year wagon on the road.
6, I forget. 7 is a problem.
There you
Because
go.
we had Zamboni there at some point.
Yeah, maybe that was 6.
Right.
That might
Maybe
be
6
six.
was a Zamboni.
5,
yeah.
making a wagon on the road right now, which is nice, you know. So, anyway, like I said, this is a team you should put away. This is a team you should beat. There are no excuses, and somehow, you should outchance them 2-1 easily by the end of the night. Easily.
So here's the thing for me with this being the team you should beat. You look at the Avalanche schedule. I don't want to call any team in the NHL an easy team. Anybody can beat you on any given night. But compared to the rest of the Avalanche schedule, this is the easiest team they face down the stretch.
That's right.
By far. So you have to put yourself in a good position and be able to win a game like this one. It just makes your life that much easier. You don't have to beat other teams that are far, far more impactful. We'll put it that way.
I already feel bad opening the show and making fun of the guys that they have out right now.
I don't feel bad.
But please understand, it is coming from a place of understanding, having seen the Avs miss key players out of their lineup, especially last season.
Let's be honest, that organization is in shambles.
They're in a really bad way. I don't revel in
They
that.
don't really have a GM right now.
You know.
Yes, they're dealing with injuries. They've also a grave of their own making with some of the prospect management they have done. I feel bad for the players? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The organization, I do not feel bad for.
Hey, listen, I'm going to use that line for a second. It's the organization usually takes shape from the leadership of the top. And I'm not here because I don't know their ownership group. I know some of their top guys there, but they made a mistake, and it shows you how monumental a mistake can be in the summer when they went for a new head coach, and that was a mistake. Mike Babcock was a mistake.
Yeah.
We talked about it on the like earlier when it happened. It wasn't the right call. It was wrong, and then it's amazing the trickling down effect that it had. You know what I mean? Like all the way to their, the start of their training camp, to the start of their season, to the. Everything was wrong. Like, it just didn't freaking, and it just shows you the leadership at the top is so important. This is where the Avs are so strong, and they're lucky to have an ownership group like we talked about before, and then, Joe and C-Mac and the crew at the top and in sync with the coaching staff. So very lucky here. We talk about MacKinnon, Rantanen in this town, but it's very lucky and fortunate to have the people at the top that this city has. It's kind of nice, so. Without putting a dagger on the Columbus Blue Jackets, right? So it is what it is.
All right, let's move over to the Avs side of this game. Let's get into our Circle K, who's gonna eat tonight segment. Megan, it's been a while since you've had to pick an eater, so let's have you go first.
I've been so happy with what the top guys have been doing lately. I expect them to continue it. Someone I still want to see get going is Miles Wood. I feel like the last time I was in this spot, I picked him. He's still my choice for somebody that I'd like to see eat. And it's a good depth game for those types of guys to step up and contribute. Definitely. I'd love to see MacKinnon continue to dunk on other teams around the league, but I'm expecting that from him. So
every night's a dunk contest for him right now.
Miles Wood is someone I'd really like. Just that third line in general, I want to see them really get it going.
Yep. You would love it. The thing with Wood is it's not for lack of chances, right? Just get one to go. Eric, who you got?
I'm going to go with, I thought he was great last game. I'm going to go with Cale Makar. I'm going with Cale again. I just feel that he's going to get on the run here again. I can't believe I'm saying that. He's got a gazillion points, and we're feeling it's a down year, and guy plays 30 minutes a night, dominates. But I just feel these last 8 games, he's going to make a little statement there and make a big push for the Norris here. And I know you guys are saying Quinn Hughes and everything, but you know what? Still got 8 games. We'll see what happens. That's my Circle K eater of the night tonight, Cale Makar.
I'm sure Cale will happily give the Norris away if it means he can peak and play his best hockey in the playoffs, right?
For sure.
So I would love to see it out of Cale to really ramp it up through these last handful of games and look like the superhuman version of Cale Makar. Myself, I am going to go ahead and take the easy one and use Saananen tonight. I
like it.
I don't think there's enough runway for him to really create a goalie controversy this year, but if he finishes this season strong, has a good training camp, he's not going to be the starter next year, but he's going to get games. He could be locked in as the Avs backup and could create more opportunity for himself. And maybe more importantly for the Avs, could give them some stability at that position, especially depending on how things go with Georgiev in the playoffs and all of that. So, Annunen, maybe he's an eater more of a long-term implication than just tonight, but every good game he has starts to build that resume a little bit more. I know I don't want to go too far with small sample size stuff, but you can only play the games you play. And lately Annunen's played really well. I really want him to keep that up.
I was in Loveland last week, and I talked to Aaron Schneekloth about Ivan. Go check out the Denver Beast. But I talked about Justus Annunen too. There was a clear difference and turning point for the Eagles when Annunen was back with the team and healthy again. There's a lot of trust that they've built around him. And also now that they have Prosvetov there, they've built trust around him as well. But something that stood out about Schneekloth and his comments on Annunen was how he responds to when he's done something wrong. He acknowledges it, he takes it, he's like a sponge, and he moves on from it. And I think there's such a maturity in Annunen that in talking about a future eater, I think will provide stability to the Avs down the line. I hate to, draw that parallel right alongside Georgiev, not so subtly, but I do like that for such a young goaltender. He has seemed to handle the mental side of things very well, because that can be very challenging for a young goalie.
It's on altitude. It's on altitude. Don't worry about it. Sorry, I was trying to do like 3 things at once there. But those are our Circle K eaters for the night. Make sure you get over to get Circle K's Inner Circle rewards. Go to circlek.com/Inner Circle today. You get 25 cents off a gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. A bunch of great snack deals on game day, too. Use that QR code on screen to download the Circle K Inner Circle Rewards app today. Look, I used the wrong analogy here, but I'm going to make it work, because the thing I was trying to go for was a zebra can't change its stripes.
Yeah.
But maybe a Dalmatian can't change its spots, I guess, for the Colorado Avalanche. But also, the Avs need to pick their spots, I think. You watch at times, particularly, I think, against weaker teams like a Columbus, the Avs have a penchant to get too cute, right? They really, instead of playing simple, smart hockey, get to the puck to the net, score goals, the way they did in the second half of that game against Nashville in that comeback, you watch them not settle. They're looking for the perfect goal at times, and it's part of the reason you see them trail so often this year.
Go ahead. I'm going to jump in because I've been on both sides.
Yeah.
And I've been on shit teams where you're so far in the standings, and you're playing a game like tonight against a good opponent, and then you fall behind early. And I'm telling you, you don't need to say anything on the bench. You're looking at each other and you're like, you've already folded. You just it's human nature. It's so hard, and you're like, oh, we're not up to snuff against that team, and it's just like, you go in between periods, and all you're looking at is like, oh, God, I got 2 more periods to play. I'm telling you, it's just what it is. But I've been on the flip side of things. So I've been on good teams, and you're playing a shit team. And then it's human nature that you want to go, like you just said, and, oh, my God, do the little Ahmed Dangler, right? You know what I mean? And then it bites you in the butt. And then that's why I was saying on my keys, like, you don't want a team like that to hang around. Put them away early, do it right, and do it with the right mindset, the right playoff habits, and to your point, everything will be fine if you do that.
How much of this game, let me ask it this way, how much does this game matter beyond itself? You look at the last stretch of the season, you can talk yourself into, hey, this is a bunch of good teams, this is preparation for the playoffs. Does this Columbus game fall into that category, or is this more of maybe a get-right game, like you picked Miles Wood as your eater? Maybe it's just one that you don't think too much about beyond the game itself. You're just trying to win tonight.
Looking back to the Montreal game, I think this is a chance for them to course correct. That was a tight game, but they left a little bit on the table there.
More than a little bit, I think.
Had to shake loose some bad habits.
Yep.
And so this is their chance at redemption from that. And a bit of a test to see, like, have you really learned your lessons?
Yep.
Because we are going into game 75 of the season, so you need to have learned your lessons. They have a near healthy and complete lineup. They really
should be a
to
win.
put a good effort forward.
Agree.
I don't want to hear that freaking stupid cannon. I don't.
Cannon.
That cannon's
No
a
cannon
pain
tonight?
in my butt, man. Like, oh
here
my
for that.
God. It is so loud, so annoying. Like, honestly, it scares the bejesus out of you when you're in that building.
Yeah.
God, I
It's
love
not my
that building.
favorite
I don't
thing.
like the cannon.
Well, hopefully the Avs can lock it in tonight. I got to be honest with my bets. There's very little good bets
Couldn't
to make
find
on the
much.
Colorado Avalanche tonight. Maybe make your bets on Columbus or elsewhere. But if you are betting on the Avs game, taking the Avs to win the first period, taking a Jonathan Drouin assist, and I'm taking a Lehkonen power play point. If you're looking for positive money,
That's pretty good, though.
there's a few options.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, you need a little luck, but obviously.
If you want to find better money, you know the drill. Wait until the Avs fall behind in this game, and then hammer the money line on that thing for the Avs to win. So it's the best bet in hockey, to be honest. You make a lot of money that way. Whatever you're betting on, make sure you do it with Bet365 using the DNVR 365 code. Get over there and bet $5 on any NHL game. Get $150 in bonus bets with the DNVR 365 code. When you do, of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. We are running a little bit along here, but shout out our Toyota chat. You guys are active. I saw only a few of you got fooled by my my April Fool's joke earlier in the show, but we appreciate y'all. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Lots of people in the Toyota chat saying, hey, has Eustace already made it a goalie controversy? I don't think the answer to that is yes. The person in the driver's seat in goal will be Georgiev.
Yeah, he had a
I said I was done talking about
season as a starter in the NHL last year. That's hard. Annunen does not have anything like that.
Now, if you get into the playoffs in the first two games, Georgiev posts 800 save percentages, you're having a conversation. But that onus is on Georgiev. I don't think there's anything Annunen can do this season to really change the math there. It's up to Georgiev how that plays out. Anyway, we've run a little bit long, so we do got to get out of here. We appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. We do have a watch-along coming your way, so tune in to that as well. And if not, at very least, tune in for the postgame. We'll break down whatever happens in this game. We'll talk to you again in a few minutes.
We all silly like the mayor.